Welcome. I'm glad you decided to watch our video today. This is Brian, and our agency is Abio Insurance located in Raleigh, North Carolina. We provide health insurance solutions to employers and individuals. Before we get started, you may wish to get a coffee, pencil, and some notepaper to record your thoughts. Our topic today is for employers. It's designed to help them determine if they are an applicable large employer. Recently, the IRS released final rules for the employer share responsibility portion of the Affordable Care Act. By the way, we refer to the Act as the ACA. The rules provide guidance how employers are to assess if they are an applicable large employer by determining the number of employees. An applicable large employer is defined in the ACA as an employer with 50 or more full-time equivalents. Folks, this is a complex subject, and we cannot know the details of your business which may affect this assessment. Seeking professional advice before acting is a best practice. This material is only meant to inform you about the new rules. If you need some help with an employment attorney, please feel free to give us a call. Our contact information will appear at the end of the video. Okay, on to step one. First, gather your employees' hours of service worked for the month. Hours of service is how the ACA defines hours that employees worked. This is important as hours of service includes the following: paid leave, vacation, sick time, holiday time, short-term disability, long-term disability, Family Medical Leave Act, and other leave of absence. This data should be collected in a payroll information system. If you do collect these pieces of data, we recommend speaking with your payroll service provider to get organized and to make sure the data is accurate for future reporting. Per the ACA, an employee with 30 hours of service or greater per week, which is 130 or greater in the month, is deemed full-time. To determine the number, simply count employees who meet this criteria as one full-time employee. In our example, this employer has 45 employees with hours of service of 130 or more. This results in 45 full-time employees. Next, determine all those bits of part-time employees. These are called full-time equivalency or FTE. These employees have hours of service of less than 130 per month. Sum the hours of service for all these employees will less than 130 hours of service for the month. When adding the hours of service for employees, cap the employees with hours of service between 120 but less than 130 hours at 120 for the month. For example, if an employee had 128 hours of service during the month, reduce them to 120 hours. This is important because if the 128 hours of service is used in the calculation, this employee's hours of service will result in greater than 1 FTE, therefore inflating the employer's FTE count. In our example, the total hours of service for all employees working less than 130 hours is 1,150 hours. Divide the 1,150 hours by 120, and the result is 9.58. This employer has 9.58 full-time equivalents, or FTE. Add the 45 full-time employees and the 9.58 FTE, and this employer has 54.58 full-time equivalents for the month. It's important to keep the two decimals in the calculation for now. Okay, on to the good news. This needs to be done for every month during the calendar year. So repeat the calculation for each month during the calendar year. This is where your payroll service provider can really help you with accurate reporting. At the end of the year, sum the total full-time equivalency for each month and divide by 12 to determine the average FTE for the year. In our example, we have added 12 months of FTE, which equal 612.57. Divide this number by 12, and the resulting average FTE is 51.04. Round down to the nearest whole number, which is 51. This employer will be considered an applicable large employer subject to the pay or play mandate for the next year because they have 50 or more full-time equivalents. Status is determined by the previous calendar year's employment data. If this were data from 2013, again, this employer would be an applicable large employer in 2014. Of course, with any rules, there are always exceptions, and in this case, it is because employers' workforces are not always the same. If an employer uses seasonal workers, generally these are workers who are employed 6 months or less, then the employer is permitted to exclude seasonal workers to avoid the status of an applicable large employer. This is true if the employer exceeds 50 full-time equivalents for 120 days or fewer, and the employees in excess of 50 were considered seasonal workers. Again, if your company uses a payroll service, ask the service if reporting is available to help determine your company's FTE count. Remember this rule: garbage in, garbage out. Always enter accurate data and you'll receive accurate reporting. Transition rules. The IRS, U.S. Treasury, provided guidance on February 11th in the final rules, including transition for employers who meet certain criteria to delay the effects of the shared responsibility mandate. The relief in 2015 is available to employers with 50 and less than 100 FTE. Ground rules have been established by Treasury, which we have captured in bullets 2 through 6. Bullet 2 may prevent some employers from participating in the relief because of early renewal programs that groups enrolled in. Bullet 4 refers to the employer making material changes to the plan. If the insurer increases the self-only plan premium, but the employer continues to share 50% of the premium, or the same defined dollar, this is not considered to be a material change. The employer cannot reduce work hours to be eligible or reduce the overall workforce. Employers will be required to certify eligibility, another good reason to work with a payroll service organization to organize your employee hours of service as well as document voluntary and involuntary employee terminations. The IRS has posted the final rules. It's 227 pages of fun. Abio Insurance offers a subscription to HR 30 to help employers stay informed with healthcare reform and other HR benefit compliance topics. Please let us know if you're interested in joining. More resources are available at www.abeoins.com. Click on our knowledge base in the Service tab or from the bottom of the toolbar on our webpage. Look for our next video, which will explain Safe Harbor rules. For updates, follow us on LinkedIn and like us on Facebook. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.